Brilliant. Thank you. It just shows the variety of roles already. And we've only heard from two of our emerging talent. So, Ellie, how about you on the degree apprenticeship programme?
Yeah, Joe. So I'm on the degree apprenticeship program, and I've mentioned, but a day in the life of me currently is I currently work in data and analytics as a data analyst for our financial DNA sort of area. So that includes looking at a lot of transactional data. So I've built quite a few Looker dashboards on cost of living, or on our to assist with our marketing team on marketing description, sort of transactional descriptions. So what our customers are sending in their transactions. It could be food, it could be dog, it could be loads of different pieces, and also looking at sort of like abusive transactions as well. We also focus a lot on our a specific data source, which is, like I said, looking at transactions. We do a lot of sort of tasks where our stakeholders are asking for certain data pieces. Can we look at the trends over the last few years? So I'm currently doing coding, so SQL and Python to retrieve that data and also put that into Looker. So something I've never done before, but HSBC has given me the opportunity to learn a completely new skill, and doing it, I'd like to think doing it quite well now as well, which I'm actually enjoying. Last year I was in mortgage pricing, so pricing our mortgages for HSBC and First Direct across residential and buy-to-let. So again, that was amazing and the exposure was great. I know, Joe, that you mentioned about studies and how does that work. Personally, I find that because we have a Wednesday every week, and that will vary depending on which cohort you're in. We have one day a week to do our lectures, to do any of our apprenticeship work, to do our assignments. So personally, I find that it's enough time to cover my reading and to do the assignments. And every now and then when an assignment's due, I may have to work a little bit extra. But other than that, I find that it's quite easy to manage with the support from the bank.
Thanks, Ellie. And finally, Dennis, how about you on the foundation apprenticeship?
What I love about it is that I've got 20% of the working hours to do my learning, and working in a branch is quite overwhelming as well. But I think managing time is what you really need to do, because sometimes calls and learnings, and as well as working, could sometimes take up all your mindset and things like that. So with the support of the managers and colleagues, it's amazing how you can progress yourself and support yourself and get your time done. It's always good to look at a positive view that sometimes this is what apprenticeship is like, working and learning at the same time. So I really appreciate that I get through this apprenticeship and working with HSBC.
Thank you, Dennis. And I'm always blown away when I speak to our emerging talent about the different roles that you've had, the responsibilities you've had, also the impact you've made on the business and indeed for our customers. Just want to ask you how your experience so far has aligned to your expectations of what you thought you might be doing. Is it way above? Is it about the same? Are you quite surprised of what you've got involved in? And I'm going to go to Ellie first, because you're on a financial services degree apprenticeship and you're coding. So have you been quite surprised of what you've been getting involved in on your programme?
Massively. I think one thing I will say is at the very beginning of this year, I thought, I cannot do this, just purely because I'm not necessarily mathematical. Definitely I passed my GCSEs and everything like that, did well, but I'm more literature rather than mathematics. So to look at code, which to me was just a completely different language, it's nothing I've ever done before, it was quite frustrating. I thought this is just way above what an apprentice should be doing. But at the end of the year now, I've got 2 months left of this current placement, and to see how much I've done and that I've actually been able to code specific tables to then transport my own tables into Looker, which is obviously a completely different environment, and to then build visualization. Not a lot of people can say that they have the skills to do that, so it's definitely not what I expected. And even last year was very challenging, but was able to network with quite senior stakeholders and to have the exposure within the business. So I think I know I've touched on this before with you, Joe, is to say that it's not an apprenticeship. I know it is an apprenticeship, but I think the the way that people sort of look at the word apprentice is that it's quite a low level, but within the bank you just have nothing but respect, multiple opportunities, and I would just say it's more of a step up than what it maybe sounds.
No, fantastic. And it's great that you've had the opportunity to learn digital skills, because that is the biggest future skill that we're looking for. And also there's a massive shortage of people with digital skills. Anybody else, would you like to just jump in and say about the programme so far, of whether it's met your expectations, and yeah, sort of what sort of high level things you've been getting involved in?
For me, so for the placement program, at least when I applied, before you get placed into a particular team, they kind of ask you to describe yourself in 3 words, and that kind of has an impact on what team exactly you'll be going into. When I got my placement, I wasn't surprised I was put in that team, and I knew that I was going to enjoy it, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of relished in every opportunity that came with it. So far, I would say my placement has definitely met my expectations, even exceeded to some point. I've had opportunity to work with so many different stakeholders. There's literally products and brands or businesses that I see on Instagram, and the following day I'm literally sitting on a call with them. And it's that very surreal experience, kind of literally working with them, that makes it very different. And those have been some of my highlights, actually, working on so many like different sector-based events. I've been on like tech conferences, kind of events focused around sustainability, being in the midst of all these amazing businesses and hearing them speak, talking about their journeys has been amazing. So for my placement, I'll say it's definitely met and exceeded my expectations.
Thank you. And many students listening to this will have no idea that we've got roles like event planning. And I always say we are far more than just a bank. It takes many, many different roles to help the bank be successful, and obviously serve our customers, but also support our colleagues as well. So yeah, very diverse roles available here at HSBC. Anybody else want to add about your expectations of the programme?
With the foundation apprenticeship, it's exceeded my expectations, because first of all, you get to work the same way as the regular people working in the branch. At the same time, you are learning as well. And it's amazing how you can do more things than the rest of them, because at the same time, like, you are doing your learning, you going through with, the program, and also you are doing the same things as the other ones that working in the branch. And also I'm doing my certificate in retail digital banking at the moment, which I'm taking the exam next week. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Thank you, Dennis. And I believe you've been promoted from your role that you started in,
yes,
from cashier to universal banker.
Yeah. So so I started as a cashier while I did my apprenticeship, and then 9 months after, obviously they see how I progressed with things and how fast I learned with things here in the branch. So they decided that I get a promotion as a universal banker, and that was one of the best moments working as in HSBC, and as well as doing the apprenticeship. So yeah.
Thank you. Andrea?
Yeah, so I kind of knew what to expect as a grad from my previous experience as an intern, but I think the internship definitely was nothing close to what I thought it was going to be, because in my country, I don't think we have internships for university students. So the moment I stepped into the bank, I was a bit scared and anxious. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be full of extremely senior people that are not going to even look at me because I'm just an intern. No, I don't matter. As Ellie said, when you're so senior and you start so low, it's kind of hard to think that your presence in theirs matters. But what surprised me was that not only people took me seriously, but they actually wanted me to speak up, wanted me to challenge the way they thought and the way they act. And I was really pleasantly surprised to find out that my opinion truly matters. And I think the only thing that I experienced as a grad, but not as an intern, was the fact that I got to communicate with so many people across the globe, as I already mentioned. And I think that's such an extraordinary and enriching experience, having to explore this multicultural global bank. It's such a huge opportunity, or at least it was for me, but I'm sure I'm speaking in the name of everyone in my cohort, really.
Thank you. Just jump in on this. Have any of you done anything additional to your job role? So helped, I know that this is your job to do events, but if you helped go out to schools, or if you helped with events, or if you become a part of the ERGs?
So for myself, I have been, well, recently with Ellie, actually, we were volunteering at a school and was basically focused on displaced students. And having the opportunity to do that as part of our roles, I think it was such an amazing experience. I literally didn't know that such a school existed, and being able to get that visibility and knowledge and insights about those things really opened my mind. I went home thinking about so many things and so many opportunities that I have that not necessarily would. I've also been involved in various ERGs within the early careers communities, such as EDEC, and I'm actually taking on a role this week as the events and careers lead, which I'm really excited about. Recently, actually yesterday, I attended a Black History Month event of like businesses who came to pitch for grants from HSBC, and I was involved in the planning of that. But what I'm trying to get at is, apart from our day jobs, which we're expected to do from 9 to 5, there's so many other things that we get to kind of get involved in. Depending on what you're really passionate about or what you really find interesting, you get opportunity to do that. And that's one thing I really appreciate, because it's not every day sitting behind your laptop. You actually get the chance to do other things that you're really interested in.